Hi, this is Danny J. Lewis, also known as Enzyme Black, and I'm a course developer and tutor here at Point Blank Online. I've released music on labels such as Strictly Rhythm, Defected, Masters at Work Recordings, and many more. And I'm here to introduce this new course in sound design for Ableton Live.
So we're going to stick with algorithm 1, and we're going to explore what frequency modulation actually is. Now, we looked at this last week when looking at LFOs. So if I just turn on the LFO here, and that's routed through to all the oscillators at the moment, and I play a note. Let's increase the modulation amount. So you can hear and see that the frequency, or the pitch of oscillator A, is being modulated by this LFO, essentially in the shape of a sine wave. We've got a sine chosen there, and if we choose triangle wave or saw wave, it's just us being automated with that shape. So this is frequency modulation at a slow rate. I'm going to switch that back to sine. So if I just pull that amount back down to around 20 and then push the rate up. Okay, now if we look at the spectrum, interesting things start to happen. It's now start to get all these jagged edges appearing, and it no longer sounds like one tone being modulated by an LFO. It actually sounds like a complex tone, and this is the amazing thing with frequency modulation. From just two sine waves, for example, you can start to create all these additional frequencies, and these additional frequencies are known as sidebands. So I'm going to turn the LFO off now, and I'm going to recreate that using oscillator B modulating oscillator A. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch B to fixed mode, and that allows us to control the frequency directly. I'm also going to pull down the multi-control to 0.1, and all that essentially does is, instead of the frequency being 100 Hz, it's now 10 Hz. Okay, bit of maths there. 100 times 0.1 is 10 Hz. Well, hopefully it is. Good, so we can hear that if we just push up the amount here. So even though this says level, this is in fact your modulation amount. Okay, so let's play a note and increase the modulation amount. Okay, so we can bring the frequency down so we get the same effect as we did with the LFO. Okay, and you can clearly see there the frequency being modulated. Now let's turn up the frequency. Okay, so we're speeding it up. Now we're starting to get all these different sidebands created. Okay, so this is FM synthesis, and what's happening is the output of oscillator B is modulating the frequency of oscillator A. And remember, this is just two sine waves. So from two sine waves, it's created all those different timbres. Now I'm just going to switch B back to pitch mode. And we're just going to investigate this level or modulation amount control, because there's an important concept here. And that is, the more we modulate the frequency, or increase the modulation amount, the brighter the sound is. Okay, and we can see that happening in the spectrum display as well. So you could almost think of the modulation amount being the opposite of a filter. Whereas a filter removes frequencies, the modulation amount, as we increase it, you can see adding on these additional harmonics so we get a brighter sound.